What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video. And just after I published yesterday's video, it was pretty much confirmed by Fabinho and other journalists that Henderson has accepted Al-Ettifaq's big £700,000 per week contract, and now the negotiations have started between Liverpool and the Saudi Arabian club for a potential 10 to 20 million pound transfer fee. And I think we talked about the moral implications of this deal and also the big hit that Henderson's reputation is getting. But let's talk about from Liverpool's perspective, because I think if anybody can seriously complain about Henderson getting sold at 33 years old when he's in the declining part of his career, the only thing that you can say is that we will seriously miss his leadership qualities and of course his technical skills on the pitch. But in terms of being a regular starter, he shouldn't be that anymore. And for him to sit on the bench, that's not what he wants to do. And that's not what Liverpool want to do as well. You don't want your bench players earning £200,000 per week. Apparently that's around the figure what Henderson is earning right now at Liverpool. And Fabinho said that the agreement between Al-Ettifaq and Henderson is done. Jurgen Klopp told him outright that Henderson could leave because game time was limited. And we will talk about the Fabinho to Al-Ittihad transfer rumor and also Liverpool's potential targets if Henderson is sold. And I think it's already pretty much a done deal. And I wish Henderson all the best. He has been at Liverpool, I think, for like 10, 11 or I think 12 years. He has been a brilliant servant. He's the only Liverpool captain to lift every single trophy as a Liverpool player, which is absolutely staggering. He won 7 trophies at Liverpool. He completed the set. So he has completed every Liverpool captain's dream to win all of the trophies. But I think this makes a lot of sense from a Liverpool point of view. And Liverpool can't really control what Henderson does, where he goes. And if Henderson was sold to, I don't know, Atletico Madrid, nobody would bat an eyelid. It wouldn't be a big story. And I mean, it's really different to, for example, Roberto Firmino accepting a deal going to Saudi Arabia. But Henderson, because he's such a role model and he has been so public, speaking out for minority groups, including the LGBTQ community, I think this is a really big controversy and caused a big stir up among the Liverpool fan base. But Liverpool FC themselves can't really control what Henderson does with his footballing career as long as Liverpool get properly compensated on. And I mean, the notion that Al-Ettifaq wanted Henderson to move on a free transfer there when he still has 2 years left on their contract, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. They should pay as much as 15 to 20 million pounds. I mean, Riyad Mahrez is a subject of a bid from another Saudi Arabian club of 30 million pounds, and I think that should be the ballpark figure for Henderson as well. It should be between 20 and 30 million. Liverpool shouldn't let him go on the cheap, because we still hold Henderson's contract of 2 years, and I think Liverpool should get properly compensated on. And for example, Koulibaly went from Chelsea to Al Hilal for 20 million pounds. He's a similar age and a similar quality player, but of course Henderson has been England captain, Liverpool captain for a lot of years, and I think this would be a big coup for the sports washing project of Saudi Arabia to getting the England and Liverpool captain in for, and it's just a big effort from Saudi Arabia showing to the Western world, we can buy any player for big money. We can buy you out, basically. That's what the Saudi Arabia's message is. Fabinho also said that Nuno Espirito Santo, the former Wolves and Tottenham manager, who is now the manager at Al-Ittihad, he's pushing for a move to sign Fabinho. Fabinho's camp has been approached. that talks took place about salary and contract. Nothing is done yet, despite reports. Liverpool have not received a formal proposal at this stage. Probably Al Ittihad first want to gauge Fabinho's interest. But the fact that Rebecca Tavares, Fabinho's wife, has already followed some Saudi Arabian accounts on her Instagram, it's a big indication that they are interested in this move to Saudi Arabia. This would be really a much bigger hit for Liverpool, because to lose a bench player like Henderson, yes, he's a great leader, but that didn't help Liverpool that much last season. We had so many big leaders in the team, James Milner, Henderson. But if you don't have the legs, the dynamism, the work rate, the running stamina in the Liverpool midfield, you will be run over. My biggest fear is Liverpool don't want to lose too many experienced players in one transfer window, especially in the midfield. You can't gut the midfield and just fill it up with young players and expect to challenge for the title. Liverpool should still retain at least one of Fabinho, Thiago and Henderson. Maybe two would be more ideal. But if we get a big offer for Fabinho as well, Liverpool will consider it. And Fabinho recently had an article in the Players' Journal, where recently from that article it seemed that Fabinho has lost a little bit of motivation after winning everything at Liverpool. And I think in the latter stages of his career, Brazilian players especially just would love to get a big last contract at any club. If it's Saudi Arabian club, I mean, they will be all over that. I'm not criticizing or condoning that, I'm just explaining that Fabinho's reasoning. Many Brazilian players come from very poor families and neighborhoods, and if that money enables them to lift whole neighborhoods up and to help out a lot of people, then that's also a big motivation for them. Neil Jones also said that Al Ittihad are ready to make a £40 million offer. I think Liverpool will sell Fabinho for even more. I think we will try to get 50 or 60 million pounds. It's hard to see Liverpool rejecting an offer like this, Neil Jones is reporting, especially if the player is keen to leave, which he almost certainly is. Wow, so Neil Jones is pretty much confirming that Fabinho would love to sign for a Saudi Arabian team and get a huge last contract. And Liverpool have to reinvest this money very, very wisely. And David Lynch is also reporting that Liverpool won't let Jordan Henderson leave on a cheap deal. They would want at least 20 million for Jordan Henderson, especially because he can get a 30 million pound a year contract. Surely Al Ittihad can offer 20 million at least for Jordan Henderson. And there has been some great discussions among the Liverpool fan base, which I'm an active member, reading and watching videos of Liverpool fans discussing all these topics. And all football clubs have to be prepared for a lot of scenarios, a lot of different outcomes. What if Mo Salah decides to go? Theoretical question. Liverpool don't owe the Saudi league anything, and Liverpool can say, look, you have to pay a big money for Fabinho, you have to pay big money for Henderson if you want to get them. Fabinho is a very rare, very experienced defensive midfielder, and if Casemiro went for like 60-70 million pounds to Man United, then Fabinho surely is worth at least 50 million, maybe even more. I think losing Keita, Ox and James Milner didn't hit as hard as potentially losing Fabinho and Henderson, because Milner hardly ever played, Oxlade-Chamberlain hardly ever played, Naby Keita even more so, but Fabinho was a regular and ever present for the last 4 or 5 seasons. Henderson, pretty much every time he was fit, he was either starting or coming on as a substitute. So losing those two players would hit a lot harder than losing the other 3. And losing 5 midfielders in one transfer window, it seems like a lot, but it's basically losing 3 players, like Milner's and Oxlade-Chamberlain's and Naby Keita's minutes. If you add that up, it probably adds up to just one regular starting midfielder. And if Liverpool already signed 2 midfielders, if we sign another one, that's at the bare minimum. I think we need 2. We need a defensive midfielder and potentially another box-to-box midfielder. Khéphren Thuram and Roma Olavia, they are both young players. They won't have, as much experience, as much leadership qualities. Long term, it might work out for Liverpool, but short term, this will be very unsettling, because I wanted Liverpool to challenge for the title. And I think if we keep Fabinho and instead of Henderson we bring in Captain Thuram or Lavia, I think we can still challenge for the title because Fabinho and Thiago will be still two very experienced midfielders. But if we lose both Henderson and Fabinho, it will be almost impossible to see Liverpool challenging for the title because there is just so much change in midfield. You basically have to rewrite and rewire a lot of new midfielders into the Liverpool playing style, into the nuances, the little details of Liverpool's tactical setup. And it takes months for that to properly work and to properly gel. And Liverpool are already being linked with, of course, Captain Thuram again, Romelu Lavia, and there is Christian Falk saying that Jörg Schmatke is keeping tabs on Manu Kone of Borussia Mönchengladbach as well. So we are probably just monitoring his recovery because Manu Kone got injured for France under 21s at the Euros. And according to Fabrizio Romano, the Saudi Arabian club Al Attifaqi have decided to interrupt talks with two other players in order to convince Henderson to join. Their priority is to sign Henderson, and Steven Gerrard is pushing to make it happen. Henderson's idol and role model was Steven Gerrard growing up, so you can't really underestimate how much of a big part that plays in the transfer negotiations. Henderson would probably love to play under Steven Gerrard's management, and according to Fabrizio Romano, Al Ittihad's top priority is Fabinho. So the deal is not advanced between the clubs, but talks are already on the way with Fabinho's representatives. And also you can't underestimate how much of a benefit it would be financially for Liverpool if Jordan Henderson left, because his wages are a lot of money. He's earning basically like £1 million per month almost. And if Liverpool already lost millionaires, Firmino's, Naby Keita's and Oxlade-Chamberlain's wages, but if you add Jordan Henderson's wages on that, then these four players' wages, or five players' wages, add up to £50 million per season. And that's a lot of wages saved for next season. And another journalist, Sasha Tavolieri, is reporting that Liverpool are waiting for Jordan Henderson to accept Al Attifaqi's deal, this was before Romano shared that he basically accepted their deal. And Liverpool will send their first bid for Romelu Lavia after Henderson completes his transfer. Belgian player talked to Jurgen Klopp and he wants to play for Liverpool. So Liverpool truly believe he is definitely a big prospect for the future, and he was waiting for making space in the midfield in order to make a step forward. Personal terms are not a problem anymore. I think Liverpool having 9 midfielders, Liverpool needed to move on one or two for Liverpool to make these moves, and it's great that we want younger players, but the big problem last season was not that Liverpool didn't have any young midfielders. The problem was we didn't really have any who was available and ready to play who were between 21 and 26 years old. We had a lot of old experienced midfielders and a lot of kids, a lot of young players, and nothing in between. Now that we added Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister, that's a good step forward, 2 brilliant steps forward. But Liverpool, if we sign Lavia, he will be also a kid, and we need somebody like Captain Thuram or Manu Kone, who are both 22 years old, who are now entering their prime years. And I mean, the timing of this is really unfortunate because Liverpool just started their pre-season training, and for Henderson to accept this Saudi deal, it disrupts Liverpool's pre-season definitely. And if Fabinho goes, that disrupts Liverpool's pre-season even more. Imagine if last summer Salah had left instead of signing a new contract. That would have thrown a big spanner into the works at Liverpool, and this will be very interesting now what Liverpool do with this situation. And I think it's absolutely pivotal that we get at least 2 midfielders in if Fabinho and Henderson are both sold, because for young players to develop and grow they need time, and you can't really buy experience unless you pay the big bucks. What I would do personally, I would try to sell Henderson for at least 25 million. I would try to sell Fabinho for close to 60 million, but let's say we sell Fabinho for 50 million, which I think is a fair price. We sell Henderson for 20 million. That's 70 million. Add a little bit on top of that and go all out and buy Aurelien Tchouameni. For 80 million, I think Real Madrid would accept that. That's almost like getting their money back for Tchouaméni. They signed him for 100 million euros last summer, so 80 million pounds should cover almost all of that. And Tchouaméni wasn't playing in the second half of last season at Real Madrid. Imagine if Liverpool replaced Henderson and Fabinho with Tchouaméni. That would be, I think, an absolute dream scenario for me. And Henderson disrupted pre-season in 2021 with all these contract talks, and the PR spin that the agent had with the media was absolutely crazy 2 summers ago. And he basically pushed Liverpool to give him a 4-year contract. And now he's disrupting pre-season again. Quite clear that Henderson and his representatives are briefing the media here. The club won't want to be bullied into selling him on the cheap, but we need to get rid of the captain now because he's so disruptive and because he basically wants to leave, wants to engineer a move. And I would say just throw the whole midfield budget, that is what is left, towards Aurelien Tchouaméni. Moises Caicedo is another player that Liverpool could attempt to sign. I think we could get him for a similar like 70-80 million pounds. So it all depends on which player is available. Caicedo is definitely available, but Brighton would want a huge amount of money for him. We already have a good relationship with Brighton after signing Alexis McAllister, and Moises Caicedo will 100% leave Brighton this summer. It's a big question of him going to Chelsea or another club. And I think because Chelsea still haven't agreed a deal for Caicedo, the door is still open for Liverpool to push themselves in and to try and get this player. It will be very, very fascinating on how this transfer window shakes out and unfolds from a Liverpool perspective. And I will be here every day covering all the major stories for you guys. So thanks for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.